Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Talk. I'm John Berry, and today I'm going to be going over my thoughts of Star Wars Resistance. So referring to my notes, the very first thing I want to talk about is animation. I am unsure of it, especially when it comes to the faces. The faces, in my opinion, are just bad and kind of creepy. They seem to lack emotion. Even 1950s cartoon faces look better than whatever style they chose for Resistance. But on a positive note, the ships do look great. They look perfectly fine and acceptable, if not better than acceptable. But the faces are not satisfactory, if you want to use that lingo. They're just not good. I don't know what it is with them. They're just off. And not in the kind of way where they were in the uncanny valley off, but they're so bad, so unrealistic off. And that doesn't make sense because both the Clone Wars and Rebels had good looking faces. I don't know what it is with the faces here. I hope they get better, but I doubt it, and I think that's going to be one of my major criticisms of Star Wars Resistance going forward. Next thing I want a proper title sequence. I am tired of Star Wars television shows kind of not having a title sequence in the modern era. Yeah, Star Wars Droids and Ewoks, those two shows had title sequences, but they're not canon. Clone Wars had a better one than Rebels. Rebels just a few notes and then the logo. At least with the Clone Wars, you had the logo come in, and then you had kind of like a motivational statement or something that, or a quote that corresponded with the theme of the episode and what was going on there. Rebels had none of that. I hope they do remedy that situation in Resistance, because, come on, I just don't like very short intros. They don't have to have it like 30 minutes or that, not 30 minutes, but 30 seconds, but like a 10-second proper intro would be lovely. Just copy what they did in the Clone Wars. That worked out nicely. Next, I just want to say, this show is for kids. There's no doubt about that. And, well, people are acting like it's intended for them, especially grown-ups. And, well, to put it simply, it's not for them, it's for kids. I would say probably middle school age kids, judging by what we've seen with the trailer and kind of how Rebels was geared initially, and the Clone Wars. If you watch the first season of the Clone Wars, it is probably the most childish season. And probably the Clone Wars only became as mature because it lasted longer than Rebels. But I think I'm mature quicker, and it aired on Cartoon Network, not the Disney Channel, such Disney XD, which could honestly affect that. But simply put, it is a kids' show, and probably like Rebels and the Clone Wars, it will mature with its audience. I don't think there's any question in that. Just some people may not be happy about how fast it's maturing. And the last thing I want to talk about is kind of thoughts on video. I will be reviewing Star Wars Resistance when it comes out. I will be giving it a chance. And I'll just let you know my honest thoughts once I've watched and reviewed it. Star Wars Resistance is premiering on the Disney Channel on October 7th. Therefore, my review will be coming out the following day, October 8th, in the morning. So, be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to be notified for when those videos will eventually be coming out. I'll let you know my honest thoughts, and I am planning on reviewing the entire series. Hopefully, I don't get frustrated with it and want to quit. And if so, I will create a video, but I don't think it'll be that bad. I'm expecting pretty good stories, especially after the first season. I have a feeling that's going to be a very rocky season, because really, it was not really until the last episode of Rebels that the first season was decent. The first episode and the last episode were like the best episodes of the first season. The rest were like, oh, come on, this is, I don't know, feels weird, feels very episodic. I have a feeling we're going to have that same thing going on with the first season of Resistance. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind. I expect multiple seasons, and I expect improvement, not only in story quality and animation quality, but also in maturity to correspond with the target demographic aging up. And that's really all I have to say to you guys. So thank you for watching this quick little thoughts on video about Star Wars Resistance. Do give it a chance. Watch the first episode. It may not be for you. It probably wasn't intended for you unless you are a child, a middle school age child, I'm guessing. So, and you may end up liking it. Just give it a shot if you're unsure. And remember, don't hate on it because you're saying it's too childish. That just means you're more mature than the target demographic. That's, I think, important to remember with everything. Look at who's the target demographic. I don't like, Star Wars Forces of Destiny. Actually, I do prefer the animation style to the animation style in Resistance. I gotta say, that is better, except for when it comes to representing male characters, then it's just weird. But still better than the faces in Resistance. But beyond that, I don't like it, but I know I'm not a target demographic. It's essentially targeted to young girls. I'm a college-age male. I'm not that target demographic. That's something you always gotta factor in, and you gotta appreciate it for the demographic it's intended to. That's probably why I did like Rebels so much, because I understood how it related to its target demographic, and I remembered when I was in that demographic age range, and I know what I liked there. And it was still, though, especially after the first season, very appealing to people who are not just in the target demographic. And I hope Resistance will get to that point as well. Now that I've added that little last statement, this is truly the conclusion of this episode of Star Wars Talk, and I would like to hear from you. So let me know in the comments, what are you hoping for about Star Wars Resistance? What are your concerns? What do you hope that they might improve on if you think something is currently lacking? Let me know. Do consider following me on social media. Links are in the description. And also, why not support me on Patreon for some extra and early content, things like bloopers and scripts. Speaking of which, this video has been unscripted, but I did have some video notes, and those will be made available to my patrons exclusively. So, something to keep in mind. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.